It's your boy Nova Z the ENT coming back with another video. As I've gone on this journey that I've started, up to 11 subscribers. So thank you, whoever subscribed to me the other day. As always, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share if you would, so I can become a daily part of your brain banana and regularly scheduled programming. Put me on in the background. Let me get those watch times up. I'm trying to get monetized. So the great thing about this little adventure that I've been going on is that my For You page has been completely altered. Like, I used to only see cars that I can't afford, sports stuff, some gaming things of that nature, album preach, drama channel, stuff like that. But since I've been on a quest to kind of diversify my content because I'm a diverse person, right? It's it's refreshed my For You page with a lot of creators I probably wouldn't have seen if I hadn't done this. So I'm assuming he came across my page because I've done a lot of, I've been looking at legendary drops, Andy Pants Gaming, and Endymion TV, because I've been trying to get in their headspace on how they see the world and why everything's a huge deal to them, right? And they're all slightly different. Like, they're all worried about slightly different things in the same vein, right? And I've watched a couple of his videos, not too many, but what I like about him is that we think almost like super close, but it's so interesting to me that Endymion TV, we have very similar concerns, but the way they get addressed is completely different. So I haven't watched this video yet. He put rant in the title, so I was like, it'd be perfect for me to get a fresh reaction to maybe a boring video. I don't know. We're about to see, but we're gonna go ahead and let big dog get talking.
Stupid when we're talking about video games. Okay, hi, it's me, your boyfriend slash girlfriend slash day friend. So we content.
In case I didn't say it, shout out to TTBN Gaming. I'm assuming that stands for that big nigga gaming, because he looks like he's 6'4", 6'5". I'm sure that's not what it stands for, but I just want to go ahead. The link will be in the description, so you can go and support and watch it for yourself.
Creator, and yes, I need you to stop being stupid when we have conversations about the issues in the gaming space, okay? And I'm talking directly to my audience. I don't know if the video is going to break contain or whatever. I'm talking to my audience right now. You're welcome to watch, though, by the way, if you're not in my audience. But I guess if you weren't, you probably wouldn't be seeing this video. I have spoken at this point at length about real issues in the gaming space, talking about as far as capitalism ruining 99, really 100% of things happening in games, the industry's over focus on big expansive titles and graphics above everything else, and like microtransactions, and like how these companies are doing crunch, like all these things that actually affect the development. And
so even you can tell from the start, right? It sounds similar to an Endymion concern, or not really Andy Pants. That's a shill. He's a not a shill. What I mean, a mark, but grifter. You know what I'm saying, is the word I want to use there. But yeah, like, we're gamers usually are worried about, and I'll say hardcore gamers, right? Because the casual gamer runs the world. If I'm a business, right, and I get 20 people to play my game by making the difficulty almost non-existent, and 4 or 5 people are offended by that, I still make 20 sales instead of 4 or 5. Now, I mean, a good game developer has difficulty sliders if that's the goal that they were going for. But also somebody said like a Bloodborne or a Sekiro or something like that, where the difficulty is the point of the game, and they're okay with having less sales because the point of the project is to be a passion project. It just so happens that there's enough people who like that, right, to support it. But the casual runs the world,
and therefore the release of games. Why some games come out more buggy than others, right? Why some games might succeed where others have failed, etc., etc. Please go watch those videos, because what the hell are we doing? Why is it anytime I just lightly now talk about, man, this thing happening in the gaming industry, I get comments like, we need to burn the industry down to the ground. These developers don't understand that they're out of touch. They're making games that no one wants, that no one likes. And I'm like, have I failed this miserably in my attempts to reach people to start to think more critically when discussing this? Because that's nothing. Let's break that down for a second. out of touch / they're making games that no one wants. And you think this is on purpose? You think they're making games no one wants on purpose? So what, they can go out of business? So they can fail?
Man, I'm assuming he's going to get to it, but this is actually one of my big woke gaming conspiracy theorist nonsense talking points, right? You're telling me EA wants to spend $300 million making the ugliest women they want to, or they can, or the soyest men possible, or the most SJW game possible, so it doesn't sell, so they can't make revenue to buy their second yacht. Man, now it's something that can be said about, you hired some people who have proclivities, and they made the proclivities made the way into the game, but it's not that they didn't hire them because they could do that thing. They hired them and they did that thing, right? Like I said in my other video, I put out a while ago about, I like, if I want to play a Gooner game, I want to play a Gooner game. I don't want somebody to tell me that I shouldn't play Gooner games, because it ruins their sensibilities, right? I'll say, they have games for you. You go play that game. Fund that game, And one of the things that, when Young Ripper, back in the day when I used to really be heavy into his stuff, one thing he said is, like, people who have $0 have the loudest voices, right? Like, there are people who want a thing and they don't support the thing that they want, and it can't come to fruition, right? Like, if these woke games were what people wanted, they would buy them. The people who were like, oh man, cool, every woman's wanting burqa. The burqa shooter would sell out, but it doesn't, because they're not doing it on purpose. They're not trying to make $0 on purpose. That's stupid.
Like, think like a capitalist for 1 second, okay? There are entire departments in games, research and development, marketing teams, that look at data and they go, damn, a lot of you motherfuckers love free-to-play games and gotcha mechanics. And so then they keep making those games, because there's a percentage chance that they can get a piece of that pie. It's insane when people go like, they're making this game for nobody. That's never true. It might be for a niche audience, right? It might be, maybe they developed this game when it was going to come out, it would have hit big, but it got pushed back and now it's sunken cost and they have to release it, right? That's happened to lots of games. But there's never been a point where developers were like, let's make a game that 0 people will buy. Let's make a game that will make negative money. Let's make a game that so many people will ignore that we could release it on the front page of Steam and people would have no idea what it is. Like, no one thinks like that. Everyone who releases a game releases it for a particular audience in mind. Now, if that audience's taste changes in between the game's development and release, that's different. But no one releases a game and goes, I hope no one is going.
I mean, if you're just listening to this on audio or YouTube Premium because you got money like that, like Big Spender, he has a picture of Lord of the Rings Gollum on there, and he says like, I wonder what audience this was released for. I know the game was bad, but that's not the point. That's actually, it is the point, right? They released a game that they thought could be a good cash grab. I know there were a lot of rumors that they said the game was supposed to be something different, but they had to use the license, and they like shoehorned it in there, and then they just thought that the Lord of the Rings name would carry it, and it just didn't, because the game was bad, and if you're playing it, you're memeing. But they didn't release it to make 0 money. They released it as a cash grab. Like they said, or maybe somebody actually thought it was good, right? Maybe somebody there developed it, thought it was good, and released it, and then now they're embarrassed because it's a meme game.
Going to buy this. Suicide Squad, Killer Justice League, right? Yes, Rocksteady had built its pedigree on single player experiences. We know this. However, to say that there was no market for a live service looter shooter is fucking insane when we had a ton of live service looter shooters. Is the market oversaturated at this point? To me, in my opinion, yes. But they're still making those games because there is still an audience for that. Maybe there is an actual audience of people who want superheroes in a live service game. Oh shit, Marvel Rivals. Damn. I guess there is an audience for that. Now, if you want to talk about their approach, like, oh, maybe they shouldn't have had like this price tag or different characters, that's fine. But to go and say like these people are making games that no one wants is on its face idiotic, and I'm so tired of that argument. If you're gonna be a real hater, like yours truly, then hate accurately. Be an ethical hater. Don't just parrot shit you hear and just say, yeah, that feels good. No, do some research. Why do you hate this shit so much? I hate microtransactions in games because they put gambling mechanics in games, and that becomes the focus no matter what people say, right? They will tell you that, oh, well, no, it's optional. No, psychologically, it's not. They're doing tricks in this game to make you want to do that. Sure, it only costs like $3, but they're going to continuously take that $3 from you. I have an old video talking.
And that's another thing that I've always found funny, right? And I don't know if I'm releasing this after or before the Endymion video about the $100 games. If I'm releasing this first, surprise, that's what the next video is probably going to be. But in his video, he's saying Blizzard ruined this game, and they put $100 or that you have to buy the season pass, or you have to buy the game, buy the season pass, buy the skins, buy new classes, buy the players. They've ruined their own game. And one of my points was, they have a whole machine, like there's a whole, like he said, a whole department. There's doing market research, and they're doing a cost benefit analysis. They're saying if we sell 1 million copies of this and we don't charge a single dollar for the rest of the remainder of the game, we've made, let's say, $60 million, right, or $600 million, right? If we sell 500,000 copies of this game, and we can charge that $500,000 or 500 player base $10 on average every month for the remainder of the time they play that game, even if they start falling off one by one until we eventually have like 100,000 players on year 3, we still made so much money from this game. It's crazy. Made our money back, put development into the next thing that we can, do whatever. That they pay millions of dollars to people who try to figure out how best to take money out of your pocket and if you are worth it as a customer.
Loot boxes, like years ago, where I made this point, and I stand by that. I hate that shit with a passion because it introduces mechanics in games that should not be there. And if you want to extrapolate from that, a lot of these games appeal to children. From a aesthetic standpoint, they do shit to look more soft, more colorful, to appeal to a younger audience. And then they put loot boxes in there, and then they put gotcha mechanics in there. Like, it doesn't matter truly if like Genshin Impact or Honkai, whatever the fuck these games are called, if they say T for teen, goddamn well, when you were that age, your parents would have bought you that game. My parents bought me Grand Theft Auto. Your parents would have bought you a teen game when you were like 10, 11, 12. They will. Let's be completely real. And the people who make those games know that. So when they put those mechanics in there, they know that there's going to be young, impressionable people who are going to get this game and then want to take their parents' wallets and go on a spending spree. That's why in other countries, they have laws against that. That's why recently, well, almost like 10 years, for the original Overwatch, they had to put the percentage chance of you getting something in a loot box, right? EA tried to call it surprise mechanics, but we know what it is. And I'm sorry for going on that tangent, but like...
Boy, that was a wild little time, like when they were calling everything surprise mechanics. And then you found out, one of the things you find out about developers and rich people, right? They don't often engage in the things they create because they know those things are bad. Like the people who, like a lot of Google CEOs or an executive in the C-suites and their higher up people, they actually, I forgot who this was a long time ago. It's about a year ago. I forgot who did the video, but there's a school around the Silicon Valley area where it's like 20 grand a year, something like that, and they do not have technology in there. They write everything on pens and paper. It feels like you get a 2001 experience, what they said. Like, obviously you used to have like projectors and stuff like that, but you're not allowed to have a phone, you're not allowed to use iPads, everything is analog, and they're paying $10,000 for the benefit of that because they know that screen time and AI and stuff like that is ruining people's ability to function. they had a court case with an EA executive in it, and they said, do you let your kids play these games? And I'm like, no, and then she didn't answer the question, and they know because you know the answer, because you think this is predatory. You just work for the company that does predatory things. You've got bills to pay, so you can excuse the thing you're doing.
I'm a real hater when it comes to that shit, so I know why I hate it. To just be like, oh, this game's made for nobody. Insane. And if it was made for nobody, why the fuck are you mad that it exists? That's another thing I always see. People get so angry and so mad, like, how dare they make Dustborn? How dare they make these Concord games? Why are you so mad about that? Like, again, what is pissing you off? Where if the existence of this game makes you want to burn down the industry, it makes no sense. Be consistent and be ethical haters. Stop being stupid with this shit. Articulate why you don't like something. Oh, it's woke. Sorry, try again. We've been over that 1,000 times. That is not a valid argument. That is not valid criticism. Too many X people, too many Y people. Not valid. Oh, they have body types instead of fucking male, female. That's also invalid. Your grievances are not criticisms. They are not. Oh, but I'm just tired of open world games. Fine. That's not a criticism of a game, though. Like, you understand that, right? Because guess what? When GTA 6 comes out, no one's going to be fucking saying, oh, we're just so tired of open world games and these.
So the whole, it's got this, I will give an example of a time where I actually am mad about a thing, like an anti-woke point. But, you know, I always say this. I say, like, progressives have a point at which they become conservatives, right? Like, what I say is, like, there is a guy, I'm going to give you a very vulgar example, right? Or very, you know, so think about this, right? You're going to be in a group of of people, and you're like, everybody should get free healthcare. Everybody should be, you know, have universal healthcare. It's a right, it's a right, it's a right. And everybody in the group's like, yeah. And then there's going to be one guy who's like, yeah, I should be able to put my dog on there. And everybody will be like, okay, yeah, sure. Dogs are a part of family for sure. Yeah. And he's going to say, yeah. And then there's another guy who's going to be like, yeah, dogs should definitely be on there. Like, because my lover's a dog. And that's basically the same thing as my family. And then everybody's going to go, yeah, He's going, yeah. I date my dog. Healthcare. And people are going to like, dang, this is the day that I become a conservative because I can't allow you to finish that sentence. We can't be in the same group. You've got to get somewhere. You're too far left of me, right? And I have a moment, you know, when I play video games, this is not a secret. Everybody knows this, right? I make a thick black chick. I always make a thick black chick. And I say what y'all want with me. I like to look at stuff. If I'm playing a game for 60, 70 hours, I want to look at the most aesthetically pleasing thing that I can look at, right? And I was playing New Dragon Age. I just started it a little bit ago because I was like, man, it's, you know, everybody has all these criticisms about it. It's too whoa, woo, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I want to play the actual game because if someone can't tell me the gameplay is bad, then I don't think they have a good criticism for why the game is bad. But then I want to create my character and I can't make nothing thick. I can't make thighs big. I can't make yitties big, booties big. I am actually upset. If you're going to make a thing, you need to make more of a thing, not less of a thing. I should be able to make the skinniest woman possible, and I should be able to make the thickest woman possible. I don't want to make what somebody could consider like a normal size, normal proportion human being. I want her stupid thick. I'm talking 2021 Megan Thee Stallion. That's what I would like to have. So that's my first anti-woke gripe. But in general, the gripes that you have for a game should be... Now, I actually disagree with him in this respect to a point. I often wonder why the people that I constantly call out on these anti-woke nonsense, right, are concerned with something they don't have to engage in. I said in the Andy Penn's video, he's mad that there's the option to do a thing. You don't have to do the thing. You don't have to interact with any of the mechanics, right? Like when you have romance options and there's men who can kiss men and women who can kiss women, you don't have to do those things. He's mad that someone could even have the choice because only his thoughts and concerns are important, not other people's, right? If they made you, okay, well, maybe. I mean, I still don't think that's a good criticism, but I understand, right? Like in the Telltale games, we had to kill that dog, and everybody was crying because they couldn't finish the game because if they had to kill the dog, they didn't want to play it. That's their choice, right? And maybe they should have made an option where you didn't have to do, or where that didn't happen. But you know, I always wonder why they care. Like, hey, if this game comes out and it has stuff in it you don't buy that game. They wouldn't just make your game. They wouldn't make a game for you, or they would have made a game for you. They made this game for whoever they made it for, and you don't have to interact with it, right? They wouldn't have made a game you liked in exchange. They wanted to make this game.
Games with the same plots and da-da-da. No one's going to say that because you're not tired of open world games. You aren't. Every fucking third-person adventure game is open world at this point. You weren't tired of it. Because if you were tired of it, you would stop buying those games en masse and then look at the market data and be like, shit, people don't like us anymore. That's something you guys aren't understanding. They are doing shit based off of your actions. Side note, do you guys remember that show Velma that was done by Mindy Kaling that a lot of people hated? I had zero interest in that show. So you know what I did? I didn't fucking watch it. Didn't have my interest. Like, looks bad to me. Don't want to watch it. And then so many people hate watched it that it got a second season, I think even like a special. And people are like, how did that happen? Because you fucking watched it.
Right.
Like the people who complain about Call of Duty being the same every year still continuously buy Call of Duty games. Oh, you're complaining about NBA 2K is so full of microtransactions and predatory. Oh shit. Well, what are your results going to do? Oh, let's just buy NBA 2K 27. Stop buying the games. You keep buying it. So they keep doing it. Right?
Now, in my video, I actually covered this. It's not because I didn't buy it, right? Or like, I know he's saying like he's talking to his audience, but I'm in his audience, so I'm telling no, I didn't buy that. Everybody, the casual fan runs the world, right? If I'm giving them a little bit of credence for complaint, it's that it does suck that people continue to support something I don't like, right? If I'm being completely honest, if I want an NCAA game where I can throw the ball over a linebacker, right? If a guy has 90 throwing power and 90 accuracy, he should be able to float that ball over the linebacker. But it's like if you were to, like, because you see the game overhead, right? It's like if I went to the EA's developers and I asked them to show me what the game looks like at a flat level, they wouldn't have a throwing lane that goes over linebacker. They'd only have like one that goes 50 yards, 60 yards, or 10, you know? I would like that, but people are going to continue to buy it because they want the new roster update or whatever. That makes me sad that they don't want better things. It is not my fault, my purchase, that is going into that. So I can give that credence or that critique or grievance that those people have, that people like that have, because I have that, right? When someone buys a game that never improves, it's not me doing it because I want it to improve. It's people who don't care that it improves. Like, I got a buddy who, he probably gonna watch this, right? But like, he prioritizes binks. Like, if a story doesn't make any sense or a plot point doesn't connect, he does not care. If it was visually pleasing to him, that's all that matters. So I am the problem, right? Because I want the thing to be better. He's enjoying it at maximum efficiency. They don't care about me. If I stop watching the show, it doesn't matter. You know, he's filling the slot that I was in, you know?
And on the flip side, people are like, well, how come there's like no new games? It's just like all these remasters and sequels and remakes because you don't fucking support the new games. Anytime a game comes out, it's now getting bombarded with dumbass comments talking about it looks too woke, it's too DEI, it's too this, it's too that. Fable 4, granted, is a sequel, but essentially a new Fable, right? It's coming out. People were already like, whoa, look at this one frame. This is bad. I don't like that. No. Actually, let's do the remake. Hi, I'm Logan Paul. Let's do a Pokemon remake, as if they don't remake Pokemon games every fucking 3 years. Like, the conversations that we have nowadays are so
Pants Gaming actually commented on the video I made about him, or the reaction to one of his videos. When my critique was that if somebody is ugly in a video game, that's okay, man. Just play the game and see if it's good or not. And his comment was, I don't want to see ugly things in the real world or in video games. I can go to the store and see that. What does that even mean? Like, what is that? Why does everything in a game have to be aesthetically pleasing for it to be good? It can be ugly and still be enjoyable. Like that, you're holding yourself back from playing probably some, like to his point, new stuff cannot be made because it's expensive and people don't want it to fail. That's actually the reason, right? People are saying like, oh, they're making these games suck on purpose. No, that's why they're not making stuff. I mean, that's a lie because millions of games or thousands of games come out every year. But they're not taking chances because you don't want to play it unless it looks like the old game. So why not just make the old game?
Stupid. Because no one wants to actually articulate and research why they're mad about something. It's just grievances. I can tell you in excruciating detail why I don't like Ubisoft. I have a whole video dedicated to why I don't like Ubisoft. Because I can articulate my points. Do I say a lot? Yes, I do. This is coming off the dome. But I at least can give you an idea of the reasoning why I don't like something. Saying that Yasuke is a black samurai and that he's really supposed to be a Japanese samurai with no fucking information or data is nothing. But that's where we're at now. People just wholesale make up shit in their mind. And because we're now living in a universe where headcanon beats truth, people just fucking go with it. Like, that's why you see so many people make assumptions about what the intent of a developer is, right? And it's not even the intentional, it's not even like, I speak real good, but it's not even like the intent of a creator where it's like, oh, I think they were going for this at this scene. No, because that requires media literacy that we fucking do not have anymore. No, now it's, oh, well, the developers are woke activists, and that's why they made this character suck. That's why Tash is annoying, because they went and hired woke activists instead of real gamers. What the fuck are you talking about? Legitimately, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? They didn't hire real gamers. You guys are morons. You understand that, right? Like, gamers as a whole, fucking stupid.
I said this, I was listening to an Endymion video earlier because I was like, man, let me go ahead and get another one in the chamber, to talk about. And he said something that it's in the same vein, right? But it annoys the hell out of me. What is a real gamer, right? Like he said, like he doesn't play Western video games anymore. He only plays Eastern games because Eastern games haven't kowtowed to the woke agenda. And what does that actually mean, right? Because it's always woke is black woman, woke is disabled person. And let's assume, right, that the game you're playing was actually made by a group of people who wanted to see themselves in a video game. Play the game and see if it's actually good, right? It's so weird to be like, hey, this game doesn't, now to a point, right? If you're saying like, hey, the graphics on this aren't where I need to be, whatever, but you're saying, oh, this main character has blue hair, it's automatically a bad game, don't want to support it. Try it. What if it was actually good? What if it's literally a good game with a woke skin on, as you would say, woke, with a woke skin on top of it? Wouldn't it suck for you to get enjoyment out of that, and you have to go like, man, that actually sucks to enjoy something that I wanted to hate, right? Now I got it. Now I gave them money. Now they can make another good thing that gets better over time. Like, what a stupid critique is that. Real gamers didn't make this. If they played video games and they got this job because they played video games, that's what a gamer is. I can't stand that shit. You can't gatekeep the definition of something because there would only be one genre of video game. There would be just one game. There'd be one game, no more games. If there was only one game, like if there was one true definition for gamer, man, you get out of here.
That's why they can put all these mechanics in these games. That's why you have to put fucking yellow paint everywhere, because your attention span is -0, which isn't even a real number, which is how low your attention span is. And you guys aren't these geniuses you think that you are. You're not. You don't do any research. You let motherfuckers like Smash JT and Asmongold and XQC and all these guys become your fucking thought leaders. And you expect a serious industry to take you seriously? oh, well, the reason why this game didn't do well because look how ugly the game character is. Oh, so when like Mario sells like crazy, it's because people are jerking it to Mario. When fucking Balacho does well, it's because people get horny for the cards for Jimbo. Actually, I take that back. There was a clown fetish, so that might be true. But like, it doesn't make any sense. Like it just doesn't make sense. And then you guys never take a step back and go, at this point, I'm no longer talking on my audience. I feel like my audience does in fact analyze things. The first part is really for the audience. The second part is just for whoever decides to stay into this impromptu rant, I guess. But you guys never take a step back and go, well, if that made sense, if that was true, wouldn't every game studio have just sexy characters all the time and make all the money if that is the most crucial thing? Like, you guys hyper focus on these details and think that's the make or break. I'm getting comments who are saying, oh, well, you know, these games do have sexy characters. Warframe does it. I promise you, Warframe didn't survive for over 10 years because people wanted to fuck the Tenno. Are there people who want to fuck the Tenno? Of course. But that is not why the game has stayed around as long as it has. That's never been the case. These aren't porn games. Like, I don't know why this is the hardest concept for people to understand.
Which, again, the fact that that's a genre truly proves that they will make a game and it will reach an audience, and if that audience loves it enough and goes in their pocket, it can survive, right? That's what I don't understand. I hate that, right? Like, again, I'll go back to I'm a down this hill until they make another one, right? I'm gonna single-handedly revive that studio. But Tales of Kinzera loved that game. I told 3 of my friends about it. They bought them, but we weren't enough. But I said, but if they made it again, if they tried again, I would buy that game, or the second game. I'd buy the third one. I like what they tried to do. And that's what gamers need to realize. The problem that the studio that made Expedition 33 is going to have is, think about this, right? So Splitgate was a small indie darling, got huge push. Like an executive saw potential in it, gave them money. They lost their way and they released slop and it was terrible, but people enjoyed hating. People who enjoyed the first game enjoyed hating on its change, right? Like, they literally said, like, the first one was a nice indie. It went against the grain. It went against everything they were trying to do, or corporatism, and now they gave in. I'm glad to see it fail. Expedition 33 now has to never raise their budget for another game and still make a game better than Expedition 33, right? Because if it's the same, or if it's a little bit worse, they did so well on their first game that people are going to say, oh man, they can't recreate the magic. Well, if you start out at 100 and you make a 99, you did worse, right? But if they have to up their butt, or if they're like, man, we made all of this with just this little bit of money, here's our dream now. Like, we had a dream in mind we couldn't accomplish. Now think what we can do. And then they might go overboard, right? And now the budget now if they have to get back out of that, could be double the amount, right? So their margin for error gets smaller, and people may hate it because it'll feel like they're trying to charge you more money. No, they just had a bigger dream, right? I can't understand why someone wants things to fail. Like, why would you want a studio to make a crappy game? You hope every game that comes out is heat, all of it, heat. And if I always say, like, EA, Activision, they should use their giant games to fuel passion projects. Madden, 2K, Call of Duty. That's what fuels, Tales of Kinzera, Balatro, all those games that are smaller, because you don't have to worry about taking a hit. That's what we would hope for, right? I can never hope that Madden gets better. It just won't, right? It's too big to fail. But I can hope that the revenue they make from Madden allows them to take chances.
People aren't that fucking horny. They're just not, okay?
Well,
yes, and I'm aware there's Rule 34 of everything, sure. But that's not for in the game. Because people make Rule 34 of characters that are fully clothed. They just think they're cool or whatever. When people are making video games, yes, they have character intention, right? They're the character designs and all that shit. But if your thought process was the dominant thought process, then every game would have big bouncing titties, would have waifus, would have everything you jerk off to, but they don't. And the majority of games that are massively successful don't have anything approaching that. Are you busting it to Ghost and Call of? Actually, there probably are people who's doing that. But like, are you like, cranking your hog to fucking Link? Are you telling me that when you play Metal Gear Solid, you only play it because you want to see Snake and Raiden? Like, all these games you guys had in your childhood that are,
He's actually doing a terrible job of trying. I'm sure there are people jerking their hogs to those three right now in one room. You know, in that drawing they made in high school. I guarantee it.
Poor memories for you. Was it because the characters were hot? If you're an old head like me and you played like GoldenEye, you weren't playing it because you wanted to fuck Pierce Bronson. You played it because the game was fun, right? When you're playing Smash Brothers, you weren't playing it because you wanted to bone Kirby. You're playing it because the mechanics were engaging. You could play with your friends. That's what game design is. Unless it is explicitly an adult game, like a horny adult game, that's not really the focus. And you're seeing games that try to lean into, oh, well, look how sexy the characters are. My brother in Christ, there is free porn on the internet. So that's not a real successful strategy either. You look at like Stellar Blade, right? The goddamn creators were like, yeah, obviously they wanted to make Eve look appealing, but that wasn't what's going to carry the game. It has to be the gameplay, the mechanics. And the story for Stellar Blade, which I do have, right, isn't the best. And Shift Up knows that. They said for the sequel, they want to focus on making a better story. But there's no way a game that on average, say it's like 12, 13 hours. There's no way you're being carried for those 12, 13 hours strictly because you want to fuck Eve. There's no way. There's no way that the million plus people who bought that game only bought that game and stayed as long as they did because they wanted to fuck every single character. And there was nothing else going for them. There was no gameplay. There was no fucking costumes. There was no music. There was nothing. It's just, oh, I want to fuck the character. And yet, if you look at the majority of discourse on the internet around that game and other games, they believe that to be true. And it's just logically not. Right? Like, just no, it's just logically not the case. Stop being dumb with this shit, man. Stop conflating your grievances with valid criticism. Again, I have a whole...
And, he's right. Like, when I think something failed, like, for instance, the Marvel movies to me, we used to go see them all the time. And then as they started making more, me personally, I said, like, man, even if the movies were as good as they were initially, I feel like I'm going to see them simply because I think there's an end goal, right? Like, I think I'm personally going to see a new Marvel movie because it's the next step in what I think ends some point. But comics just don't end, right? So I stopped watching them. But if they're still selling out, if they're still doing it, like, there's something appealing to enough people that they make it, they can make more Marvel movies. Games have to have more than, all that to say, like, there's something about that thing that makes it have longevity. It can't just be one thing. Saying something is only surviving because of this is very short-sighted. Like, it's a combination of things. Some can be bigger reasons than others. And that's what the nuance I think a lot of these people lack when they say, like, oh, AAA is making terrible games. How many games release in a year? Let's say, for instance, 3,000 games came out in 2025 and 10 big ones failed. That mathematically, that was probably going to happen, right? Now, if all 10 games are for one studio, okay, well, now you can ask a different set of questions, but they don't care. 10 big games failed, AAA's dying. 900 indie games failed, well, you didn't know about them or you didn't care about them. So what it is, and it doesn't help your narrative.
Video somewhat addressing that point too, now that I think about it, where people are like, oh, we have to admit, you have to give... No, I don't have to admit this shit because it's not true. Like, be better ethical haters, okay? I don't mind people hate shit. As long as you're able to give valid critique, hate what you want. You can hate me. You can say I stutter too much. You can say my videos are fucking random. My upload schedule sucks. That's fine. But being like, I don't like your hair, fine. Not valid criticism of my content though. You don't like my background. Okay, still not valid criticism of the actual content. You don't like my face. You're free to do that. Not valid criticism of my content though. Be good haters. Be smarter haters. Stop falling for the most baseline shit And for the love of God, stop supporting people who do that. They make everything worse. There is not a single person who follows, again, like Asmongold, Master AT, any of those grifters, right? Who can actually give you salient points. That's why when I do react videos, I attack their points because their points are.
I'm gonna give him this is my opinion, obviously. Everything's my opinion that I say. That's what it is, right? For the most part. But they exist because those people don't want to critically think, right? Like, I'm actually completely, remember, I'm a shill. I can be bought, right? If you commented to me and said, hey, I would really enjoy your content if you just told me what I wanted to hear, boy, you let me know what you want. You send me a couple of dollars and I will make videos about exactly what you, audience member, wants to hear, right? But they go to Asmongold because they don't need to. Think about this, right? If they're walking past and somebody says like, oh man, I really think X thing is stupid, that person goes, I also think X thing is stupid. What else do you think is stupid? And after a while, since if he gets like 5 things that they think is stupid right off the cuff, now they go, oh God, thank God I don't have to think anymore. I can just turn on his video and I can find something. I can be mad with him, and so I'm mad in the room. It's parasocial. I'm mad with him. We're both angry. Rah 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 rah. I didn't have to think about what I'm mad next because he's gonna tell me what I'm mad about next. I'm too busy working. I don't have a third place. Like, I say that those people exist because people like to hear their own thoughts out of other people's mouths. So he's always gonna have an audience.
Fickle. I actually received a comment on one of my videos with Vera Dark, and I watched a bit of it, and I was like, how was this person have an audience? But then I realized, much like how the gaming industry realized, a lot of the gaming audience is fucking stupid. Easy to make money off of. Why do you think all these grifters got big around the same time? Because they all figured out it's easy to make money off of you. Just get you mad. But anything and everything doesn't fucking matter. Titties aren't big enough in this character. Too many black people. Why is this gay? And then you guys are like, why is this gay? Because shit's gay.
Oh, yeah.
Gay people exist. Black people exist. Hello, existing. Tall people exist. Also me. People exist.
Hey,
they've always existed. But you're now mad, and you never stop to think why you're mad about that. Oh, the quality of my life has deteriorated. You think it's because of niggas? You think niggas make your life worse? You think illegal immigrants make your life worse? You think games are bad because trans people exist? Like, do you not understand how that's so fucking stupid? And they think you are dumb, and you prove them correct every time you regurgitate their talking point? The reason why your material conditions haven't improved is because of capitalism. Coincidentally, the reason why a lot of these games fucking may appear to be shittier now is also because of capitalism. You have companies wanting to push generic and also generative AI. You want companies wanting to cut corners so they can have a bigger profit line. You have companies that would rather push out a product that's buggy and then patch it later than actually release something of actual worth because of capitalism. It has never been because characters are gay. A character having blue hair in a video game is not a signifier of quality. But again, you guys have fallen for the most basic, dumbest shit that you see that in monkey brain activate, neuron activated. Stop activating the goddamn neuron. Just think for a second. You played games in the past that had characters of multiple hair colors, that had characters of multiple ethnicities and orientations, and it didn't bother you. And now I'm talking to the weebs, especially. The fact that you guys are the most racist people on the internet makes no fucking sense to me. The content you watch isn't even from the race that you belong to, for the most part.
See, I gotta stop him here, right? I've been called Nigato and, or what have you, and Nicholas, like whenever I, have my hair up sometimes, whatever, by too many, no. To white people, the default anime character is white in their brain. The skin color is close enough that Naruto and, Light Yagami are white people to them. That's why they're not worried. The name is ethnic. The character is white in their brain. I've always wondered that, right? But as I've started to realize, that's why when black people cosplay as white character or Japanese characters, they're like, hey, you can't be that because that character is not black. But they never say that on a white person's post because to them, that person in that anime is white. I know that's completely neither here nor there, right? We got about 4 minutes left in the video. I'm gonna leave something to be desired, so that way, hopefully, if you want to hear the last 4 minutes, go to TTBN's Gaming's channel and listen to the rest of it. He like I said, he hit a lot of stuff nails on the head, and I always say like it's so funny how similar a lot of our concerns, not just like me and him, but like me, him, and Demian TV, those grifters also, which I guess you'd call me a grifter too. I have no problem being called that. I would like to make some money doing this. But we're so close in how, and what our concerns are. It's just that it's so funny to have the same end goal, but the paths that we take to get there are so different. Because I can't for the life of me understand how me and him saying like, hey, we need better game development and less microtransactions, and them saying, yeah, we need less microtransactions and better game development and less black people in video games. And it's like, oh man, dang, come on, bro. We were close. We could have been a part of the same coalition, right? That's neither here nor there. But thank you for stopping by. Again, like, subscribe, share. Leave me some comments, please. Thank you to the new subscriber that I got. We're on that road to 100. Hopefully, in a year when you look at this video or I go back and scroll, you guys can say, hey, I was there before the bandwagons, before he had 1 million subscribers and drove a Lamborghini to take his kids to daycare. One.